See now, I'll project the screen just to show you how many properties are there for a fuel. Then I'll enter for the today's experiment. Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
So just a few properties here it is listed. All chemical structure, fuel material or feedstock, energy content, that is lower heating value, higher heating value, physical state, cetane number, pump octane number, flash point, auto ignition temperature, maintenance issue. So many properties are there. Okay, along with that, one more important property is viscosity. Viscosity is also one of the important parameter, and calorific value is also one of the important parameter that they are not mentioned here. Just you Google it with others. So just I wanted to show what all the properties are there. Yeah, see here. Can you see now? How many properties are there? This is the table which shows the different properties of fuel, chemical formula. Say specific gravity, density, boiling temperature, rapid vapor pressure, heating value. In that lower heating value, higher heating value, octane number, cetane number, freezing point, flash point, auto ignition temperature, water solubility, flammability, latent heat of vaporization, specific heat, stoichiometric value, percentage of fuel vaporization. So all this along with calorific value, and one more is the viscosity. So many properties you have to determine if I want to use a particular fuel in an engine. Okay. If I want to use a particular fuel in an engine, I have to find out all these properties. That means nowadays you heard about the biodiesels, no? Biodiesels and all you heard about? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If I want to use a biodiesel for any engine to run, if I want to use a biodiesel to run an engine, I want to check all these properties. I want to check all these properties and I have to compare what is the properties we are getting compared to the diesel. Okay, compared to the diesel or compared to the petrol, like that. Generally, we will put the biodiesel in the diesel engine. So we will check and we will compare all these properties with the diesel. To do this, to check the properties of all this oil, we need some experimental setups, right? Some equipment is required. So what are all the equipments required? For each and every experimentation, the different experimental setup is required. Okay, in that again, for example, if you want to find out the freezing point, say for freezing point for gasoline is 40, minus 40, but for biodiesel it is 26 to 66. Like that, you have to calculate all the properties and you have to compare with biodiesel with the standard diesel fuel. Yeah, number 2 diesel fuel. Can you see here? Just I'll compare with one diesel fuel. Which one I'll calculate? Heating value. Okay, I'll calculate the higher heating value. Higher heating value for the higher heating value for the diesel is 19,673. Coming for biodiesel, it is 17,266. Like that, if I want to use a biodiesel, that range will be given. Any biodiesel should have in certain range, so that I can use that in a diesel engine. That will be given by the specific manufacturers. Okay, that will come to that later. Now my question is, to determine all these properties, different setups are required. So that if we, for example, 10 properties are there, 10 setups is required, for example. In that also, if I go for freezing point or any property in this, if you go for freezing point or cetane number, to determine the cetane number or a freezing point, there are again so many experimental setups. That means each and individual scientists or each and individual researchers having their own method to find out the properties. For example, viscosity. If you come for the viscosity, to find out the viscosity, it is mandatory. And to do that, we want viscometers, right? We want viscometers to find out the viscosity. That viscometers, there are n number of viscometers. That also I'll show you what all the different viscometers available. So among those viscometers, or just briefly I'll tell what all the viscometers available. So yeah, just redwood. Okay, I'll tell. What all the viscometers available means, one is a redwood viscometer. So with that viscometer, we'll find out the viscosity. One is a Seibold viscometer. With that viscometer also, we'll find out the viscosity. Redwood, Seibold, torsion, falling spear, and then so like that, n number of viscometers are available only to find out the viscosity. So if I want to use the particular oil in engine or a particular oil in some particular application, they will mention you must satisfy the viscosity of so and so range, and that to be determined with some particular machine. For example, redoux viscometer only. They will mention that, so that you have to do the experiment only in the redoux viscometer and find out the viscosity. And if it is in the given range by the user, you can suggest him to use that, like that. So that there are so many viscometers. So today what we'll do is I'll find out of n number of parameters or n number of properties. Today we will take up the viscosity. Viscosity is one of the properties we will take, and will explain you how to find out the viscosity of a given oil or a given fuel. Anything, any fluid, if I give, you should supposed to find out the viscosity of that fuel. In the chemistry lab, first year, in the chemistry lab, you people have determined the viscosity of the oil. I know I asked with the chemistry, they told that the students will be familiar with this. Can you name what is the device you used for determining the viscosity of water or any other low thickness fluid? Can anyone name? Can you remember and name? If you want, I'll show the picture of that so that you can remember. We'll see. Just I'll present and I'll show you the picture of that. If you remember, you can tell me. Can you see this picture? All of you can see this? All of you can see this?
Yes, sir.
Do you use this setup in first year chemistry lab? Did you use? Do you remember anyone?
Yes, sir, we used.
What is the name of that instrument? Do you remember?
So viscometer.
Yeah, that is viscometer, of course. See, here I'll show you. This is also viscometer. This is also viscometer. This is also viscometer. All these are called as viscometer. See, this is also viscometer. And one more. By using this setup, sorry. They're all viscometers, but particularly there is a name for this kind of viscometer. Right now I told, no, there is a Seybold viscometer, Redwood viscometer, falling spear viscometer, like that. There is one particular name for this viscometer. You're not familiar with that?
No, sir, I don't remember.
It is shown here. What is the name of that?
Ostwald's viscometer.
Ostwald's viscometers. Means that viscometer what you are used to find out the viscosity of. See, this Ostwald viscometer is always used to determine the viscosity of very, very light fluids. That means if the thickness of the fluid is very, very less, even though it is called as a liquid, some liquid will be having which is having less thickness. For example, water. If you want to determine the viscosity of the water, we will go and we'll take the help of that Ostwald viscometer. Like that, methanol. It is also very, very thick, less thickness fluid. To determine the viscosity of that liquid, we will go for finding a viscosity using a Ostwald viscometer. Like that, you name any liquid which is having less thickness. That thickness will be, that viscosity of that kind of fluid will be determined only with the help of Ostwald viscometer. Clear? Like that, if you go for the oil thickness will be more. To go for the higher thickness oil, there is some experimental setup. If it is some thicknesses in between some range, there is one more setup. Like that, depending upon the thickness of the oil or name of the oil, we'll be having different setups. Falling spear viscometer is there. I'll show that also. Falling spear viscometer is like this. Just I'll present. Can you see the video? Can you see the video?
Yes, sir.
Okay, see here. Here there will be, just you observe first, I'll explain that later. There is a spear and the spear is inserted in a tube. We'll raise the temperature to 50 degree, and glycerol is the solution used. Then we'll start the stopwatch. Observe the spear. What is happening for the ball or the spear? Can you see that? What is happening?
Yes, sir.
The ball is that means what we see the readings. Okay, this is the example of one type of viscometer, that is falling spear viscometer. That means by using some application will be there where the ball bearing, some application where the liquid what you are using inside the liquid will be inside the tube, and on the same tube we are going to supply some solid material. So that kind of application must be satisfied the readings obtained from the falling spear viscometer only. Like that, depending upon the application, we are going to select the viscometers. That is one of the viscometer. So for all the viscometer, the common setup required is, one is thermometer to measure the temperature, second is a stopwatch, and the third is heater. Remember, for all the experimental setup, to find out the viscosity, we want stopwatch, we want thermometer, and we want heating device. Why heating device is required? For example, I'll give you one oil. You take a coconut oil which is there in your home. You take a coconut oil which is there at your home, and if I ask you to measure the viscosity, the next question you supposed to ask me back is, the viscosity if I want to measure means what is the temperature, at what temperature I supposed to measure? That is a very important question you supposed to ask me. That means the viscosity, the thickness of the oil will go on varying depending upon the temperature of the oil, right? That you agree? The thickness of the oil goes on varying depending upon the temperature. So if I ask you to measure the coconut oil viscosity at 40 degrees centigrade, you will get some value, kinematic viscosity, you will get something. Same coconut oil, if I ask you to measure at 60 degrees centigrade, you will get different viscosity for the same oil. If I ask you to measure the viscosity at 80 degree, you will get different viscosity value. That means the value of the viscosity is directly proportional to the temperature, or sorry, it is proportional, not directly and inversely. It is, we'll come to know that only after the calculation. You have to tell me whether it is directly proportional or inversely proportional. But now with this definition, you come to know that the viscosity is proportional, is having some relationship with the temperature. If the temperature varies, what will happen to the viscosity? You should tell me. That is the aim of the experiment. At last, you should tell me. Okay, like that. Depending upon the application, we'll use different viscometers, and we want a stopwatch also. What is the reason we want a stopwatch is, in the falling spear viscometer, you observe there was a graduation on the tube. The ball was allowed to flow, and inside the tube, the glycerol was filled. So there, they first set the temperature at 40 degree or 60 degree. Some temperature they'll set. After setting a temperature, they'll allow the ball to fall from top to the bottom with inside the tube. Inside the tube, the glycerol is filled. And then if the ball is allowed to fall from top to bottom, and there was two graduation. From the first graduation, they will start taking a time, and they will end up the time up once the ball reaches the second graduation. So that the time required to reach from first graduation to second graduation, they collect. Then they use the time also to find out the viscosity. So that stopwatch is mandatory part for all the viscosity measuring equipment. Thermometer is the mandatory part, and heating element. These three are the mandatory part for all the viscosity measuring setups. So today we will go for finding a viscosity of a given oil with a given setup. Clear? What is the first? Today we will conduct two experiments. In both the experiments, we will find out the viscosity of some given oil. So write on the aim of the experiment, or title of the experiment is written. You write the name of the experiment. Write down the name of the experiment. Name of the experiment: Redwood viscometer. Redwood, REDWOOD, Redwood viscometer. Redwood viscometer. Aim of the experiment, aim of the experiment is to determine, the absolute and kinematic viscosity of the given oil. I'll project the manual also. You can go through the manual. You can just a minute. Have you gone through the syllabus of EC Lab? Yeah, you see here. The first experiment is layout, that you have done calibration and all. And the second experiment is flash and fire point. We'll do that in the next week. The third one is calorific value here. Fourth one, determine the viscosity of a lubricating oil using Redwood viscometer, Seybold viscometer, and torsion viscometer. So we will do these three. We'll use these three viscometers and we'll find out the viscosity. Redwood, Seybold, torsion. So first today experiment we'll do Redwood. After this Redwood we'll go for Seybold. We'll do Redwood as well as Seybold viscometers today. So in that, first experiment is to determine the viscosity of a given oil using a Redwood viscometer. And second experiment will be determine the viscosity of a given oil using a Seybold viscometer. So those two are the viscometers used to find out the viscosity of a given oil. Just I'll share the manual also. Time, just a minute. Yeah, can you see? Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. There, the audio is not recorded. We are not recorded. It is, the audio is muted. Just I'll go on explaining. You observe carefully. What do you mean? What you are going to do? Seybold, you supposed to tell like that. How to do the Seybold viscometer? It is almost same. Just experimental setups are different. You see here. First, we'll go for the finding a viscosity of a given oil by using a Redwood viscometer. How the setup is? The setup looks like just this is our lab. We have taken the recording from our lab, whatever the best possible way. Yeah. Say this is the Redwood viscometer image. Can you see the outline line diagram of Redwood viscometer? In this Redwood viscometer, there is a dimmer strat. That means to vary the temperature, there is a dimmer strat, and this dimmer strat is connected to this setup. This entire setup is called as a Redwood viscometer. So first, what we will do, we will try to fill the oil. We will try to fill the oil in a gap of this, in a cup. Can you see this cup? In this cup, we will try to fill the given oil. And inside the cup, there is a rod and there is a ball here. This a small circular ball as well as a wall. What is the purpose of that is, I'll tell you that later. First, you have to understand what are different parts. There is an oil cup, there is a ball, and there is a rod. And outside, there is a water. This is called water bath. And this is called a stirrer. These two wings are called as a stirrer. And this is called thermometer. And here also, this is a thermometer. And at the bottom, there is a measuring flask. There is a measuring flask. And this knob, this valve is called as drain valve. Drain valve. These are all the important parts of a Redwood viscometer. So how it is going to function? I'll play the video. Along with that, I'll explain. I'll keep on explaining. So before that, I'll briefly explain. First, what we'll do, we will fill up the water in the outside cabin. See, this is a cylinder. Outside there is a cylinder, and inside also there is a cylinder. This is like a cup, and in a circular fashion. So outside cylinder, we are going to fill up with the water, and inside cylinder or a cup, we are going to fill up an oil. And thermometer is attached for measuring the temperature of water as well as measuring the temperature of oil. Okay. So what will happen if we switch on the thermostat? The temperature will start, means the water temperature will start rising. This temperature of the water has to be passed to the liquid, or else what is that? Oil, which is there in the oil cup. So what we will do, we will continuously stir the setup with the help of this stirrer wings or stirrer blades. With the help of this stirrer blades, the temperature from the water will be, means if you continuously stir, what will happen? At a constant rate, the temperature from the water will flow through the oil. Means the oil, whatever is there inside, it will rise its temperature. So that temperature we are going to record with the thermometer, which is there inside the cup. So once the desired temperature is reached, for example, I will give you some oil and I'll ask you to find out the viscosity at 60 degrees. So once the 60-degree temperature is reached for this oil, once the temperature of 60 degrees is reached for the oil, we will switch off the thermostat. We will switch off the thermostat. If the thermostat is switched off, then if I measure, the temperature of the oil which is there in the cup will show 60 degrees. We are not bothered about the temperature of the water. Let it be whatever. It may be, it will be more than 60 only. And then this temperature of the oil which is there inside the cup, it will be 60 degrees. For example, I'm telling one rate. Then what we will do, we will have a measuring flask. This is called as a measuring flask or a collecting flask. First, we will measure the weight of or the mass of this flask. We will measure the mass of the flask. Then once the temperature of this oil is attained 60 degrees, we will remove this ball valve. All these is also called as ball valve or a lock rod. If I remove this lock rod, what will happen? There is a small opening between the, if I zoom that, you can see there is a small opening here. Once if I remove this valve, the oil will start flowing through this orifice. This is called as an orifice. From the orifice, the oil will start flowing. Then it is going to collect in a container. So we are going to collect the oil, known quantity of an oil, for example, 60 ml or 60 ml or 50 or 60. We will collect the known quantity of oil, and again we will stop this. We will arrest the flow of the oil from the cup. Then we will measure the weight of the flask. Then we will subtract the weight of the empty flask, and we will subtract the weight of the filled flask as well as the empty flask, so that we will get what is the mass of the oil collected for a particular duration of time. So if you substitute the time as well as the mass of the oil collected in a formula, we will get the viscosity. We'll get the value of viscosity directly. So this how we'll do the experiment for 60 degree. If you ask to do for 80 degree, again we will fill up the oil here. We will rise the temperature of water. That temperature of water is given to the oil constantly with the help of the stirrer. Then once the oil temperature reaches 80 degree, we will remove this ball valve. Once the ball valve is removed, from the orifice, the oil will start flowing and it will collect in a flask. Okay, up to what ml? The given ml, up to the level or up to the marking in the flask, the oil will collect. We will measure the weight of the oil again. So, and also we will measure the time taken to collect the oil up to the marking. So can you tell what will happen for the, if I increase the temperature, what will happen for the time taken to collect in a flask?
It will reduce.
It will reduce because the viscosity of the oil will reduce, so that easily the oil can flow through the orifice. So the time will reduce. We will note down the time. Also, we will note down the mass of the oil. Both the values we will put in a particular formula. If I substitute in a formula and simplify, we will get the viscosity. That is how we are going to conduct an experiment. Okay, this is very, very small experiment. It won't take much time. Only time it will take here is to rise the temperature of the given oil up to the told value. For example, here in our lab, we will do the viscosity of an oil for 90 degree, 80 degree, and 70 degree. So 3 experiments we'll do. One is for 90 degree, and then 80 degree, and then 70 degree. For 3 temperatures, we will calculate the viscosities. That's how we will calculate that. How we'll do, we'll see now. See the concentrate on the different parts. This is one more viscometer. I'll explain this later. But both the viscometers are there in the same chart. Today we will do the experiments to find out the viscosity of a given oil. Initially, we will take the experiment by using the electron viscometer. Can you see? Can you hear the video? Can you hear the audio? Hello?
Yes, sir, but it's not clear.
Okay. Now?
No, sir, it's not very clear.
Okay. See, now I'll explain. Meanwhile, along with the video only, I'll explain. First, I explained the different parts. This is a weighing machine, and this is the oil which is given for measuring a viscosity, and this is the oil cup, and this is the oil cap. Just a minute. Okay. So I'll explain. I'll mute here and I'll explain. These are all the different parts. Weighing machine, oil, weighing machine is used to measure the mass of the empty flask as well as mass of the oil and flask. This is the cap, and this is called a thermometer holder, and this is called as a ball valve thermometer, and this is a collecting flask, and this is the entire setup of the Redwood viscometer, where we are going to fill up the water, 2-liter water capacity. The capacity of the Redwood viscometer in our lab it is used is 2 liters. And then the thermometer is inserted. See. You can see the heater inside. It will be zoomed now. Yeah. You can see the heater which is wounded there. Because of that heater only, water will get heated up. And this is the thermostat, and the stopwatch is used. And the oil cap, the entire setup is inserted inside the container, and that is an oil cup. Inside what I'm showing there, it is an oil cup, and there is an opening. That opening is called as an orifice. It is exactly at the center, and that will be closed with the help of this ball valve. See, if I leave that ball valve, suddenly it will go and cover the opening of the orifice, so that the oil flow will be blocked. Okay, then. I'm going to fill up the water, or I'm going to fill up the oil now in the cup. Observe where, up till where I'm going to fill. The oil is going to fill till the needle valve, till the needle. The needle will be shown. Inside the oil cup, there is a needle. Till that needle, the oil will be filled. Now, the water which is surrounded the oil cup is heated up. Before going to heat, we are going to insert a cap. Close the cap, close the oil cup with the cap. Then thermometer holder, insert a thermometer holder. Then you are going to insert a thermometer with the help of the holder. So now we are going to measure the temperature of the oil. With the help of that, we are going to measure the temperature of oil. And now I'm doing the stirring operation, where the constant heat from the hot water will be supplied to the oil, which is present inside the cup with the help of that stirrer or stirring. And this is called as a measuring flask. And we are going to keep that measuring flask exactly below the orifice while take utmost care so that the oil should not spill out. Then what I'll do, the oil, once the oil, if I want to collect the oil, just lift that ball, it will collect. Now what I'm going to measure the mass of the empty flask. Mass of the empty flask, I'll measure now.
50.38 grams.
See, the mass of the empty flask is 50.38 grams. This one will make a note in the tabular column. The weight of mass of that is 50.38. Now we'll insert that. We'll keep that.
In the thermometer, we are going to
See, can you hear the audio?
We are going to read for 90 degrees centigrade. That means the oil which is there inside the cup will be.
See
Yes,
if you
sir.
can hear.
Once it reaches,
Hello.
Some parts are clear, but some parts are disrupted.
so that
We'll do one thing. I'll play this without talking so that you observe carefully. Then I'll explain once again.
once it is reached, now I think probably cannot see here, but you remember the temperature we are going to wait till 90 degrees. Okay? Now, right now it is at 80 degrees centigrade. We'll wait for 2 more minutes to reach for 90. Temperature has reached to 90 degrees centigrade. So that what we will do is switch off the thermostat as well as the power supply. Now the power is off. Power is switched off, so that we are going to get the oil temperature as 90 degrees. Okay? So to confirm that, we are going to stir once again. And here, we make use of this knob to lock the ball valve. I'll show you how to lock the ball valve. Okay. Now what you'll do is, I'll make this orifice, which is at the bottom of the oil cup, to open so that the oil will be collected in a flask. The quantity of the oil to be collected in the remote source. So how to open the orifice? Here, there is a ball valve. Just lift the ball valve and hold it. This is the holder. See, now you can observe the oil is collecting at the bottom of the plastic. Wait till the oil gets collected, 50 ml oil gets collected, and also at the same time you note down the time collected for 50 ml. It might be a little unclear, but it's at 50 ml. Okay. Now we are going to weigh this. The oil collected in the flask, the oil quantity is 50 ml. Now with this quantity of oil, please make a note of the weight or mass of the oil as well as the flask. Earlier we collected only the mass of the flask. Now we are adding along with the oil weight of oil mass. So now we are adding this 90.31 is mass of the oil along with mass of the flask. Now whatever the mass we are having now, tabulate, we are going to put that value in the tabular column and do the calculation. And try to obtain the kinematic viscosity as well as the absolute viscosity of the given. So this whatever the procedure we did, this is for one temperature reading, okay, 90 degrees. So similar experiment we are going to conduct for 2 to 3 more minutes, okay, in the form of reducing temperature. For example, 80 degrees, 70 degrees, 60. So now you observe how to put this oil back to the container, how to do the experiment, how to conduct the experiment. Further, the conduction of the experiment is the same as we did for other components. Slowly open the cap. You remove the thermometer to the setup. The oil cap. Put the collected oil in the cup. Oil. Again, the oil quantity will remain here, or the level of oil will be as it is earlier. What was the oil quantity? The flask in the position. You record the temperature. Wait for now. The temperature of the oil is around 85 degrees centigrade. Wait till 80 degrees centigrade and repeat the experiment through the calculation for kinematic and absolute viscosity.
Do you understood how to conduct the experiment? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's how we are going to conduct an experiment, just by rising the temperature of an oil and measuring the time as well as the mass of the oil collected. The mass of the volume which I want to collect is 50 ml. 50 ml of the oil has to be collected, and if measure the mass of the oil, how much it will be, that also you're supposed to make a note. You're supposed to make a note in a tabular column, the mass of the oil, temperature of the oil, time taken to collect the given volume of the oil, that is 50 ml of the oil. These three readings we are going to make a note in the tabular column. That's all. Then once these three readings are done, again fill back the oil to the container or else the cup. You rise the temperature, whatever the temperature it is asked, you rise to that, or you reduce to the temperature which is asked. Then again do the same experiment. Remove the, once the temperature of the oil is reached to the particular temperature, remove the ball valve and keep the ball valve in the holder, and then you observe the oil is falling inside, the oil is collected in the container or a flask at the bottom. And then along with that, you have to make a note of time also, time taken for collect 50 ml of the oil. Once the time is noted down, once the 50 ml is finished, you record the timing as well as you weigh the collected oil, so that you will get a mass of oil, collected oil at that particular temperature. Make a note of the mass, volume as well as the time taken. Like that you repeat for all the temperatures what we are going to give. In exam, they may ask you for 3 temperatures or 1 temperature. Depending upon the examiner, they will ask to do the viscosity for a particular temperature or 3 to 2 temperatures. That depends upon them. So once you do that, you put the values in a tabular column, do the calculation. The calculation is very, very simple. It is having only 2 formulas, not more than 2 formulas. Okay. See, today what you're supposed to do is, I will give the values of mass of the oil collected, time taken to collect the oil, temperature of the oil. These 3 values I will give. You put those 3 values in a tabular column. Then you supposed to show me the calculation by submitting in a Google Classroom. After showing the calculation, you're supposed to do the graph also. I'll show that what is the graph you're supposed to draw. That also I'll show now.
The temperature of the,
yeah, this is how I'll share the screen of the manual also, so that you write down aim, observation, tabular column. See the observation what you're supposed to write.
this is the calculation procedure.
Here you're supposed to write the volume of the oil collected 50 ml. Apparatus required is reduced discometer. Sample of the oil. We are used the oil, the 2T grade. Different grade you can use. We are here you use 2T grade. And this is the tabular column. This is the tabular column. The same tabular column is there in the manual also. I'll project that. If you want, you can take a reading. Or I'll share the reading, no issue. After tabulating, we'll find out the kinematic viscosity and absolute viscosity. Both the viscosities we will find out, so that we'll be having 3 viscosities at 3 different temperatures. If I do for 3 experiments, if I do for 4 experiments, I'll be having 4 viscosities: absolute and dynamic, absolute and kinematic. After obtaining the viscosities, you're supposed to draw the graph. See here in the y-axis, you draw the kinematic viscosity. In the x-axis, you try to draw the temperature. As the temperature increases, the viscosity reduces. Similarly, you do the graph for absolute versus temperature. As the temperature increases, the absolute viscosity reduces. So this is how we are you're supposed to do the experiment, and also you're supposed to draw the graph. So if anyone is having doubt, you please ask me, we'll explain. And this is the result table. Kinematic viscosity, absolute viscosity. Here we have done the experiment for 90 degree, 80 degree, and 70 degree. So 3 viscosities you'll get in absolute as well as in kinematic. So you write down all those in the form of graph. You represent that in the form of graph and submit. Is it clear? Record writing, till now we did not receive any information regarding the writing of the record. So what you're supposed to do is, after this class, you're supposed to do the observation. In the observation, you make a note. In the observation, you're supposed to write name of the experiment, name, aim of the experiment, name, aim, observation, calculation, tabular column, result, and graph. Only these things supposed to be submitted in the Google Classroom after this lab session. Okay, after the lab session, you are supposed to submit a PDF file. Submit a PDF file which includes name, aim, specification, calculation, tabular column, results, graphs. Is it clear?
The graph of the on a proper graph sheet or only the expected graph?
No, proper graph sheet, if you put, you will come to know what will be the nature of the curve.
Okay.
If the graph sheet is not there, just in the plain sheet only, you prepare a graph that like means in a y-axis you divide into 1 centimeters, in the x-axis also you divide into 1 centimeters. Try to plot the graph.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Sir, will you send it in the form of an assignment so we can submit the PDF?
Assignment, okay, fine. I'll send in the form of an assignment so that everybody has to submit under the heading of classwork only, not in the stream. Okay, in the Google Classroom, you supposed to submit in the form of, in the place of classwork, not in the stream. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is about
Sir,
the yeah.
After specifications, calculation, and result, no, sir.
Calculation, tabular column.
Okay. Graph and
result. Graph is also mandatory.
okay.
Okay.
So you will share the manual. And then
Manual. Okay, I'll share the manual.
yes.
I'll share the manual. See, still the manual I'm updating. What you do is you refer the experiment what we have done today. Only that one that is updated. That is updated because this time we are trying with the video. No, we are including in the manual what is required and what is not covered in the video. Those things we are included, so that you refer only the experiment which is done today.
Okay, sir.
For that experiment, you see the manual and then try to do the calculation. Next week again for next experiment, I'll prepare the manual and I'll send back. If it is offline, no, offline mode manual, there is no change. For online, I want to include some more materials that I am including each and every week. If I do the experiment, then only I'll come to know what addition I'm supposed to do. So that it is taking time. This viscometry manual regarding the viscosity of Redwood and Seibold, both is ready. I will send that manual to you. Okay. Now I'll go for the next experiment called as determining the viscosity by using a Seibold viscometer. Determining the viscosity by using a Seibold viscometer. So I will tell what is the difference between these two. Experimental procedure is almost similar. Almost similar. What is the change in this two is, first, the oil used. In the Redwood viscometer, oil used is 2T oil. In the Seibold viscometer, we will use 4T oil. That is the difference between the Redwood and Seibold viscometer what we are conducting. In the Redwood, 2T oil we are using. In the Seibold, we are using 4T oil. First difference. Second difference, there in the Redwood viscometer, we are collecting, what is the volume of the oil we are collecting in a flask? Adarsh? Adarsh? Ajay?
2
Ajay?
liters. 2 liters.
2 liters is the water. 2 liter is the water quantity for heating. That is nowhere, we are not using anywhere. Oil, I'm talking about the oil. How much oil we are collecting at the bottom of the in the flask at the bottom?
I'm not sure.
50 ml. We are going to collect 50 ml, 50 ml of oil in the Redwood viscometer. Coming to Seibold, same experiment, but we are collecting 60 ml, 60, because the formula is designed like that. 60 ml of oil is collected, and we are going to measure the time taken to collect 60 ml of oil, 60 for Seibold, and for Redwood it is 50 ml. That is the second difference. And the third difference, can anyone tell how we are going to log the oil flowing from the bottom? How we are going to log the oil flowing from the bottom in Redwood viscometer? Can anyone? How we arrested the oil to flow from the bottom? How we stopped that?
Using a ball valve.
Yes, using a ball valve, If I leave the ball valve, it will go and block the orifice so that oil will not flow from the setup to the flask. But here in the Seybold viscometer, we are using a cork. I will show that how it will be. We are using a cork and then we are going to block the oil flow. So these three are the major difference between the Seybold and the Redwood viscometer. Okay.
Sir, what does T stand for? 2T, 4T, you said. What
That
is T?
stands for the thickness of the oil. Thickness of the oil. That stands for the thickness of the oil. For example, for two-stroke engines, we are using 2T oil. For four-stroke engines, we are using 4T oil. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay. Now, I'll show one video from the YouTube how the Seybold viscometer is measured. How the viscosity is measured by using a Seybold viscometer. Then we will show our setup. Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Just you observe this video how it is measured. Can you hear the audio?
Instruments Private Limited presents
Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Viscosity Barometer 7, 1998.
They are measuring as per this.
Introduction. Viscosity of liquid bitumen binders like bitumen emulsions.
They are determining the viscosity of bitumen binder. Okay, this is a Seybold experimental setup and this is a Redwood setup. The Redwood experimental setup. Both are almost similar to C. Okay.
And tar are determined by indirect method using orifice type viscometers. A 60 ml of the binder is allowed to flow through specified orifice size of a cup at a given temperature, and the time taken in seconds is recorded as the viscosity value. As per BIS, the viscosity value of bitumen emulsions are determined by using Seybold Fural Orifice Viscometer at test temperature of 25 degrees Celsius or 50 degrees Celsius. Apparatus. Seybold Fural Test Apparatus consists of an oil tube with overflow rim at the top. The oil tube is having an outlet orifice of 3.15 mm internal diameter and stopper cork at the bottom. The oil tube is fixed in a thermostatically controlled water bath with stirring device. The lid of the water bath is having heater and cooling coil to bring down the temperature of the bath media. The bath is placed on a tripod stand with leveling arrangements. A wide mouth receiver having mark of 60 ml at neck for collection of the sample. Thermometer ASTM 17C, range 19 degrees Celsius to 27 degrees Celsius with least count of 0.1 degrees Celsius. Thermometer ASTM 19C, range 49 degrees Celsius to 57 degrees Celsius with least count of 0.1 degrees Celsius. A stopwatch to read with an accuracy of 0.1 second. Withdrawal tube.
Yeah, just a minute. Hello? Yes, did you saw the experiment how they conducted?
Yes, sir.
The similar way, the setup is different. That's all. Only for redwood viscometer. Redwood and Chabold viscometer is almost the same. We can find out the viscosity of the oil, given oil with the same procedure. But the collecting oil, the quantity of the oil collected is 50 ml in redwood and 60 ml in Chabold viscometer. And in our lab, we are using 2T oil for redwood, 40 oil for Chabold viscometer. And locking, how the oil is locked in the redwood by using a ball valve, here by using a cork at the bottom. So these are all the differences between the redwood as well as Chabold viscometer. And what is the common point in these two? The common point in these two are these two setups. The oil is heated by using indirect method. For both in both the setup, the oil inside the cup is heated by using indirect method. That means first the heat is given to the water. From the water, the heat is supplied to the oil. That is called as indirect method of heating. Remember, in Viva, all those questions will be asked. Indirect heating is that. Okay, and then mandatory part is stopwatch, heater, thermometer, as well as collecting flask. So these are all the mandatory part of the setup. Any issue, any doubts regarding conduction of experiment of Chabold and redwood?
No, sir.
Hey, Sumant.
All right.
Okay. Now I'll project the experimental setup which is there in our lab for Chabold viscometer. Okay. The video is not so clear, so I have played the YouTube video first. You observe how the setup is and how we are going to conduct. First, you completely see the video, then I'll explain if you're having any doubt. Yes, hello. I've gone through the experiment how we are going to conduct in our lab. Hello. Ankit, Chinmay, this is the procedure what we have conducted in our lab. We are going to conduct in our lab to find out the viscosity. So I have taken the entire lab, the entire laptop now only to take the video, but there is no, I cannot, internet is not proper there. So I recorded the video. We'll try for the next week a better videos. Yeah. So with this, now what I'll do is all of you take, I'll share the manual in a Google Classroom. You download the manual. As per the manual, whatever the thing it is required, you write down in a separate A4 sheets. Put the page number 1, 2, 3, 4. Write your name, put your signature at bottom of the page. So that do first experiment. Like that, complete the second experiment along with the graph, submit in a Google Classroom. Make one PDF for today's file. One PDF and name the PDF as Seibold and Redwood Viscometer _ your USN. Or first you write your USN number _ Seibold and Redwood Viscometer. So if I click on that, I supposed to get both the experiments. From aim of the experiment to graph of that experiment. Is it clear? Right now I will share the manual in the Google Classroom for E1 batch, sorry, B1 batch. And values, you please, I'll project the values. You copy the values and keep with you. And wherever it is essential, you write down the values and then do the calculation. Okay. I'll project the values. First, I'm going to project the values for Seibold viscometers. For Seibold viscometer, I'm projecting the value. Or I'll do one thing. I'll give the values. Okay, I will give the values, and else shall I send a photo of the values to the group in a Google Classroom? Only values. I'll send a photo. Put that values and do the calculation in the tabular column. Okay. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Now all of you can leave the class by typing your reverse number. Anyhow, you are submitting the observation, but anyhow, you type your reverse number, name, you can leave the class. Go for the Google Classroom. There you can find out the manual as well as the readings of both Seibold and Redwood viscometer. You can leave the class.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
By what time do you have to submit that, sir?
By 4:30. Submit this by 4:30. It won't take much. It won't take more than 10 minutes. Each experiment won't take more than 10 minutes. Only 2 formulas to calculate. That's all.